disconnect here in a sec. Right?
This is one of the coolest pieces about the HUD. So again, I keep mentioning brightness. This is because what I'm really focusing on is how bright I want the information, because I also need to be able to see through it. Am I in VMC conditions where I'm looking outside and looking at the runway or the airport environment? Or am I in IMC conditions where I'm using the HUD as supplementary information for what I'm seeing on my PFD? So I'm going to adjust the brightness to something that's usable, and then I'm going to use the HUD to track and follow what I'm going to be doing on the instrument approach. The best part about it is it automatically declutters. The approach environment and the arrival to the airport is some of the busiest times, especially if we're on an instrument approach procedure. What the HUD's going to do is it's going to shed non-relevant information for me, and it's only going to provide me information that's relevant to the type of approach that I'm shooting. So now I can look at my course information, I can look at my altitude information, and I can get my airspeed, all without having to bounce my head up and down inside. And again, we talked about spatial disorientation earlier. If I'm in the cloud shooting an approach, I want my head as focused to the front, not bouncing up and down like this, which could potentially spatially disorientate me. I start dimming the HUD immediately because I want my eyes focused on the runway where I'm going to be landing in the touchdown zone. But I also like the benefit of having my airspeed. So I'm going to get the airplane configured appropriately, watching airspeed for the appropriate flap settings or gear settings depending on what type of airplane I'm flying. And then as I cross the runway threshold, I can transition my eyes from the speed that I'm seeing on the HUD to the end of the runway for a nice round out and landing.